If you're in a situation where you need to fire a difficult employee, then this video is for you. I'm Coach Glenn. I help seven-figure entrepreneurs to grow fast, increase profit, and get the time back. So for some reason, you are in a situation now where you have an employee who needs to be fired, and there is no questions about that. You've already done all the talking, nothing helped. Now there's the only way to get rid of this person. And there are multiple reasons why you might be in this situation. It might be that you hired in a hurry and you didn't have time to properly check and onboard this person, or this person was hired by someone else in your company and now you have to deal with that. So what's the best way to handle this? First of all, we need to do a couple things before we fire this person. Please don't do it right away. We need to understand what are the values that this person currently provides to the company. And we need to separate measurable values with unmeasurable values. Please make a list of all measurable values. So let's say you have to fire Steven. Steven is working in a sales department, and every month he's making $500,000 in sales, working with his clients in our company, basically with our clients, right? So the measurable value is $500,000. So what's the unmeasurable values? Let's say he has personal relationship with 5 key clients of ours. That's unmeasurable values. Or he has kind of a leadership position in the sales team. That's unmeasurable value. Hopefully not, by the way. So the next step after we understand the value is to make sure we know how Steven is doing his job. Because if we don't, then we are in trouble. Is Steven following some SOPs that you provided? Or he has some secret way of doing the sales that no one knows about? So we have to make sure that knowledge stays in the company. If there are some blind spots, make sure you observe and understand how Steven is doing his job, and you ask, as part of the job, to document and write down the exact steps how Steven is doing the job before firing him. And since he is in the sales, this also means we need to understand what are the relationship with the current clients and all the information that he possesses about those clients. So now when we know the value and we have an understanding and all the SOPs about his work, then we have to decide if we can distribute his responsibilities across existing team members without a need to hire another person and get the same value back. That would be a good option. But if it's not possible and we need to hire another person, then guess what? We need to do it before we fire Steven. So now, based on those SOPs that you have for Steven's job, you need to create a proper avatar and job description for the person who will replace Steven. I will leave in the description a video on how to write the proper job description that works. So, but then again, what if you need to fire Steven right away? Well, in that case, still do the documenting part and the values part, temporarily distribute the responsibilities across the team and hire right away, using the approach that you will find in the video that I mentioned. But the best way would be to prepare the candidate before you actually fire Steven. So even you're emotional right now, this Steven just pissed you off for your company. Please wait. We will properly screen candidates and get one good candidate on probation period. And we will have couple good candidates as a backup so that we will not lose this $500,000 that Steven brings. All right? And after this person and replacement is onboarded and got through probation period, then it's time to fire Steven. And yet we have to do something else before you do that, which is calculating, understanding, and minimizing the risk. First of all, always be polite. Allow Steven to keep his dignity. Ensure Steven doesn't feel embarrassed in front of the team. If you don't, you risk retaliation, such as a data leak. And I know you're not afraid but it's about keeping your company safe. So please make sure that Steven doesn't have any access to sensitive information. Even if you are confident he will not do anything, you still have to do everything to reduce the risk. While talking to Steven, acknowledge the value he brought to the company and agree on a proper contract and date. Give him transition time and severance 1 or 2 months to allow him to find another job. It doesn't mean he has to go to the office for this whole month. If you don't want to see him, you can just tell, hey, I'll pay you. You can just go home and start looking. So use your time efficiently. You will still get paid. You might think it's unnecessary, but I've seen businesses suffer from extreme actions, and let's be honest, stupid actions, by fired employees. From data leaks to burned warehouses, if paying 1 or 2 months isn't feasible for your budget, still treat Steven with respect. Even you dislike Steven personally, as a leader, acknowledge his work in front of the team so he doesn't feel kicked out. And why I'm talking about Steven's feelings? Not only because of the risks that Steven can bring, but also because of the impact that a fired employee is having on the team's morale. And after Steven leaves, you must lift your team's spirit up, especially if Steven had some kind of friendship or even small talks within the company. And clearly explain, okay, Steven was fired because of those reasons, but even he is not part of our team, you as a leader made a decision to give him proper severance so he can find another job, and your current employees will watch how you handle this. If you fire someone suddenly, without communication, they will feel insecure. They will worry, oh, this might happen to me. And those type of thoughts in employees' heads lead to unease and insecurity, lower performance. So instead, your team needs to understand what's acceptable in your company's culture and what's not. And because it's clear why Steven was let go, your leadership will remain stable. That's how you protect your team performance and grow your profit. The last important topic in all of this is how to talk to Steven 101, how to tell him that he is fired. First of all, start the conversation in a respectful manner, even if he made a big mistake or pissed you off. So let's say Steven had disagreements with the clients and he was lying to them. So what would you say? First of all, we will acknowledge his value. Steven, you're a great salesman, and I appreciate you brought those clients and this revenue to us. Unfortunately, lying to the client is not part of our culture. And even we tried to communicate with you on this matter, we still had the same issues. We've got several reports from the clients, and unfortunately, we came to a conclusion that we are not a good fit. Steven, I respect you, and that's why I personally took care to get you 1 month pay upfront so that you will have your time to explore other opportunities. So this is an example of how you tell people that they are fired. Be ready for various emotional reactions, from calm acceptance to anger and even tears. You might hear things like, oh, I gave 5 years of my life to this company and that's what I get. Don't take it personally, stay calm. And you have to tell, I understand you're upset, but the decision is final. Please let me know if you would like to accept this extra payment from the company. So here's your severance and we need you to sign those papers. That's how you do it. Believe me, removing the wrong employee will bring you more profit in the long run. Stay profitable, your coach Glenn.